Hello, my name is Jonathan Dixon, Vice President of International Corporate Services at OTC Markets Group. Today, I'm joined by Fraser Ramzan, Head of Investor Relations at Marks Spencer. Marks Spencer is listed on the London Stock Exchange and cross-trades onto the OTCQX Best Market under tickers MAKSY and MAKSF. Fraser, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Jonathan. Good to be here.
Fraser, can you talk about the company's growth expectations and transformation programme?
Well, M&S is really in the middle of a multi-year transformation programme whose aim is to restore the business to sustainable, profitable growth. Now, the first phase over the last 3 years, we've really been focused on fixing the basics of the business. Now, what this has meant is shifting to a trusted value stance in our food and our clothing and home businesses, broadening the appeal of our ranges in food, in effect focusing on a family audience, and also focusing on our hero categories that we're famous for within clothing and home. At the same time as doing all this, we've had an overt online focus strategy. We've bought 50% of Ocado Retail, the UK's fastest growing online pure play food retailer. And also on top of that, we've focused on growing our online business within clothing and home, which is now around 1/3 of our turnover in the clothing and home business. We've also been reshaping our store estate and closing a number of our legacy stores, well over 60 now, as we shift towards modern fit-for-purpose stores, which really have good access and car parking. At the same time, to support that, we've had a significant cost-saving programme, both within our supply chain and our central functions, to support delivery of the programme. A reshaped M&S is emerging from the pandemic period. We've reported strong and improving growth in the current year, driven by both the bounce back from COVID and the transformation programme. So in our food business, our sales growth has been double-digit on 2 years, and that's largely driven by bigger baskets as we become more relevant for our customers in line with our plans for the offer. The Ocado business has made a strong contribution to our results, and we're now driving growth through 50% more capacity expansion over the coming years. In our clothing and home business, we've now reported 2 quarters of consecutive sales growth, driven by full price sales, and our online business is up over 60% over 2 years. And we're accelerating the reshaping of our store estate. We now have over 20 full line stores in our pipeline, which can help us drive rotation of our store estate. And combined with a much stronger cash flow performance, we are well on the road to restoring our balance sheet metrics following the pandemic.
How is Marks Spencer differentiated from its peers?
Well, Jonathan, M&S is predominantly an own brand retailer with around 95% of our sales in both businesses through our own brand. We have a really strong historic reputation for quality, and in recent years, as we've shifted towards trusted value, we've also seen an improvement in value perception, which we think is one of the reasons we're driving growth. Now, in addition to this, we have very strong loyalty. Our Sparks card programme has over 14 million members, and our online clothing and home business over 10 million active customers. And really that gives us a huge opportunity to drive increased frequency and spend as we look ahead through those unique customer relationships that we have. Now, the final point I'll make is on ESG. Our business has been carbon neutral since 2012, which makes us the only national retailer to have achieved that position. And we now have a programme to move to full Scope 3 net zero by 2040 across our own operations and our supply chain.
Fraser, what is the company's approach to investor relations with respect to transparency and shareholder engagement?
Well, Jonathan, over the last few years, we've worked really hard to improve the transparency and, frankly, the clarity of our investor communications. If you look at our financial reporting, you'll find a very clear articulation of the strategic issues we face, the solutions, and our progress against them. In addition, when you read our financial report, you'll see that we've moved to reporting the full P&L of our accountable businesses in clothing, food, and international. And that reflects the way we operate. We take full accountability for delivery of the results by business unit internally. In terms of our engagement with shareholders, we report full results to the market twice a year. In addition, typically, we will have an annual investor day. And we also have ad hoc communications such as our Christmas trading results, which we put out in early January, and also our engagement on issues such as ESG with the wider shareholder base.
How important is a global investor base to Marks Spencer?
Jonathan, the US investor base represents an incredibly important pool of investors for M&S, and we've had a long history of engagement with the group, and including being listed on the OTCQX market. Now, being listed on OTCQX is fantastic for us because it really increases transparency and visibility for our business in the US marketplace. And that gives us the opportunity to build long-term shareholder relationships, which for a business in transformation is really what we're all about.
Fraser, thanks very much for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you and the team in New York next time.
Can't wait to come back.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.